What if the brightest boulevard in America is really hiding its darkest secret? Every night, the Las Vegas Strip dazzles visitors with 15,000 feet of neon tubing, $55 billion in tourist spending, and a promise that luck can change in a single spin. Yet one block off the main drag, nearly 7,900 Nevadans have no bed at all, part of a 20% surge in homelessness that's unfolded just since 2020. Dig beneath the glitter, and you'll find a 300-mile lattice of flood tunnels sheltering a community locals call the Mole People. City leaders know the tunnels flood fast, but the alternative, crowded dorm-style shelters that many distrust, drives hundreds below ground anyway. By the end of this story, you'll see why Las Vegas has become a national warning sign, and why what happens here could ripple straight to your own front door. By day, the Strip feels unstoppable. Formula One just roared through town, Major League Baseball broke ground on a $1.75 billion ballpark, and analysts still call the city recession-proof. But those headline projects mask a parallel statistic: homelessness growing 5 times faster than the tourist count. When visitor spending reached a record $55.1 billion in 2024, the unsheltered tally quietly jumped to levels unseen since the Great Recession. Locals describe the transformation in a single breath. One side of Las Vegas is Disney World for adults. The other is a tent city stretching from Sahara Avenue to the railroad trench. That split happened fast. Between 2010 and 2025, metro population ballooned by 350,000, rents doubled in hot neighborhoods, and casino job cuts after the pandemic erased a safety net many families relied on. The result is a metropolis living 2 lives at once, one draped in LED billboards, the other in blue tarps. But who are the people the billboards never show? Step off Fremont Street's canopy of 1.5 million LEDs, and the contrast hits instantly. You'll spot Maria, once a housekeeper at a luxury resort, sleeping in her hatchback after a rent jump and medical bill wiped out her savings. Or Arturo, a rideshare driver whose car became home when app payouts dropped and a single flat tire cost half his weekly earnings. Official counts list 7,906 unhoused Clark County residents, but outreach workers estimate thousands more rotate through cheap motels, storage units, and improvised desert camps, unrecorded, unseen, and therefore unhelped. Tourists race past, selfie sticks high, never realizing that many of the workers who shined their hotel mirrors or drove their taxi last night now queue at a church pantry by dawn. The stories share a chilling thread. None started with so-called bad choices. They started with a single shock: illness, layoff, divorce, and a rental market that no longer forgives mistakes. Some victims literally disappear beneath the city. Below the casinos, a concrete labyrinth built for flash flood control sprawls for 300 of the valley's 450 miles of drainage channels. Somewhere around 1,500 people live there today, carving shelves into culvert walls, hanging Christmas lights from rebar, and dodging biblical floods that can roar through with 10 minutes' notice. James, a former union carpenter, keeps his belongings on a knee-high ledge he calls "my insurance against the river." He moved down after losing a $1,200 apartment and deciding shelters were louder and scarier than the street. Volunteers from Shine a Light brave the sludge weekly, handing out flashlights, Narcan, and bottled water, proof that compassion survives where daylight rarely does. Why risk drowning to avoid a free bunk? Because in Vegas, the idea of shelter often comes with lines, theft, curfews, and dormitory rooms crammed with 100 strangers. So why hasn't the city fixed that? In July 2025, the median rent for all unit types citywide hit $1,900, nearly 40% of the take-home pay for a household earning Clark County's $75,000 median. One-bedroom leases average about $1,290, but desirable neighborhoods rocket higher, and utilities bite hard in 115-degree summers. Meanwhile, Groceries float above national norms. Bread, milk, and eggs freighted in over hundreds of desert miles. Budget economists now rank Las Vegas in the top 10 U.S. metros for rising, cost-burdened renter rates. What once lured retirees with low taxes has morphed into a high-stakes affordability gamble, and the house is winning again. So you might ask, why not lean on shelters until rents cool? Clark County advertises roughly 4,000 shelter beds each night. On paper, enough for everyone sleeping rough. In practice, many beds sit empty, while people bed down in tunnels or encampments. Unhoused residents cite rampant theft, aggressive curfews, and dorm rooms packed like an airport during a storm delay. Outreach data confirms the distrust. Even on freeze nights, corridors near downtown remain crowded with tents. Add the county's new camping ban, enacted February 1, 2025, and the equation grows crueler. Police now sweep encampments with 24-hour notice, confiscating unclaimed belongings and issuing fines few can pay. Officials defend the policy by pointing to available beds, but even the county commission admits capacity falls short of true demand. That disconnect, the mirage of help, pushes people back into the shadows. And when they try to climb out through official channels, the maze only deepens. Need rental help? Start with the Housing Choice Voucher Program. Except the waitlist closed in January 2025, with 38,408 families already queued. Only about 1,200 vouchers turn over each year, meaning someone who signs up today could wait decades. Try sleeping in your car near the convention center, and you'll meet new no overnight parking rules passed ahead of mega events. Try pitching a tent behind a closed motel, and sweeps will arrive before sunrise. Even well-publicized transitional housing sites in Charleston Boulevard or Summerlin stall under neighborhood lawsuits or staff shortages. Each barrier chips away at hope until a cycle of fines, towing fees, and lost documents locks people exactly where they started. Meanwhile, the city writes billion-dollar checks for spectacles. Las Vegas just celebrated breaking ground on the Oakland A's $1.75 billion stadium while still digesting the $500 million spent to lure Formula One down the Strip. Critics ask why public subsidies flow to sports, while tunnel dwellers beg for flashlights. Consider this ratio. The 2024 tourism spend of $55 billion eclipses Clark County's entire combined budget for homeless services more than 100 to 1. Even a 1% reallocation could triple current shelter funding overnight. Yet year after year, fountains get funded before futures. It's a civic math problem hiding in plain sight, one that begs the question, what exactly is Vegas betting on? Not everyone waits for government fixes. Shine a Light's volunteers climb into the drains every Saturday, delivering supplies and slow-earned trust. Work honored at their April 2025 Beneath the Neon Gala. Care Complex, on a shoestring, has already moved 300 tunnel residents into stable apartments since 2023, coupling rentals with job training in HVAC, culinary arts, and security. Micro-vendors dot the arts district, selling reclaimed wood crafts or cleaning windshields at gas stations. With a modest licensing reform, the city could legitimize hundreds of such hustles, funneling desert resilience into taxable, pride-building work. Imagine pairing casino banquet kitchens with culinary apprentices who once sifted trash for cans. The pipeline is limited only by will. The blueprint exists. What's missing is the political courage to scale compassion as boldly as neon. Which brings us back to the bigger picture. Las Vegas loves to market itself as the land of second chances. But when nearly 8,000 locals sleep in tunnels or parking lots while billions roll across baccarat tables, that promise rings hollow. The city's fracture line, spectacle versus shelter, mirrors pressures now rising nationwide. Runaway rents, stagnating wages, and public dollars chasing prestige over people. If America ignores Vegas's cautionary glow, the tunnel beneath the Strip could foreshadow culverts under ports, culverts under theme parks, culverts under tech hubs. any place where money outpaces empathy. But the inverse is also true. If Vegas, of all cities, chooses to put people first, imagine the signal it would send from coast to coast. So the next time you hear chips clatter or fireworks burst over $1 billion stadium, ask yourself, what would happen if just 1% of that energy flowed toward the tunnels, the car sleepers, the silent hustlers? One act of kindness, multiplied across 42 million annual visitors, could redraw the line between luck and loss for thousands. The neon capital has shown us the stakes. Now the deck is ours to reshuffle. Will we bet on glow or on each other?